Hi, it's Jen Legg at Jen Legg Sews on Insta and on here. I've come on because I've been a bit wounded really. The last couple of, the last YouTube I put out, I didn't seem to get, I got loads of views but not many comments. Lovely Julie from Julie Who Sews, I think she's called, on YouTube, and I'm going to look and I'll put it down in the link when I put this YouTube out or vlog. Messaged me, and she was absolutely lovely, explaining, and her and somebody else did this because I've been filming in portrait because I felt like you could get the whole thing in, but I understand on YouTube you've got to do it in landscape. I've already recorded this once and looked, and my whole head was cut off, so I'm having to do it again. It's so hard. It's hard in landscape. Anyway, I'm here in landscape, but what I've decided to do, which I wasn't sure I was going to do, is do all of the footage of me making my white dress for Fabric Godmother as an ambassador. It was the McCall's, I can't remember the number of it again, I'll put that in the bottom. It was 2016, I think. I don't know why I've just remembered that. Because I think things that I've videoed in it would help out, or you'll be able to see it anyway. So although it's in the wrong format, it's in portrait, I do understand that you can see this and you can follow it, because I did end up getting comments on my pyjamas I made because Julie told me I'd turn the comment section off. So eventually I got them through. I felt like, oh, no one's liking what I'm doing. I had a bit of like a wobble. I'm only 4 vlogs in, I think it is, or this is the 5th one, thinking, am I doing it right? Is people watching? Do I want to see what I'm doing? So I have pulled my socks up and I'm going for it again. Obviously my birthday weekend last weekend, I had no time to do things anyway. So this is just a little introductory. The next lot of videos you'll see are me working as I did in sequence, making the white dress for Fabric Godmother that I absolutely love. That white dress, it's beautiful. So again, if you can subscribe, I think I'm at 908 now, which is amazing for 5 vlogs. So if you can press that subscribe button, and the next lot of vlogging I'm going to do is all going to be in landscape. I can't guarantee the editing's going to be very good, but I'll try, and we'll go from there. Any comments, please, I think I'll make sure the comments is on. So if you've got any comments or anything, then if you put that in, that would be amazing. And thank you so much for putting up with me. If anyone is planning on doing vlogging and think they can't do it, follow mine and you'll understand it is a learning curve, a massive learning curve, and you'll see that you can do it if I can. So thanks again. So the next lot are all going to be about the white dress that I made for Fabric Godmother. So I wanted to record making my next Fabric Godmother Ambassador make, and I've been sent this. It's just amazing. Palm trees, broader angular. I got 4 meters because originally I wanted to make the Silver Saga dress that I've just tested. But if you've been following me, you'll see that my room is absolutely upside down and I couldn't find it. So the pattern, nowhere. I've looked everywhere, can't find it. And I got an email this morning. So today we are Thursday, I don't even know what date it is. I can't remember, is it the 26th, 27th, something like that. And I've got an email off Ruby to say, will your photos be ready for Monday? And of course I've said yeah, but literally it's not even started. So I love this dress. I have made it 3 times or twice now and I absolutely love it. ME2016. So I'm going to go for that. Fabric Godmother also sent me the lining for it, so I'm going to line the top. I'm going to line the dress so far as well and leave it sort of see-through and transparent at the bottom. I think I might have enough for the long sleeves, but I'll decide on that when I get to it. I'm going to work on the bodice first. But what I am going to do is, can you see on the edge of here, There's a beautiful scallop that goes along. So I'm going to use my baby lock. I'm going to do like a template, and I'm going to use my baby lock and do a rolled hem right the way along there. So at least I won't have to hem it all, although doing a straight one might be easier. But I think it'll look beautiful if I can do that. So I'm going to do some sort of template and draw around it so I get it even right the way around, and use a baby lock, because I have neglected that baby lock and shown you things on that, which I intend to change now I'm doing this YouTube, because they've been so good to me, the baby lock team. I've got the Acclaim and I've had it for a while now. So I'm going to do that and show you how to do that. Obviously you'll see all of this once it's been released. I think the release date's the 3rd of April. So as usual, this is the way I'm going to do it. I'll film it as I'm doing it, and you'll see me talk about it as I'm going along. So I need to start that, and this is what my room currently looks like. I've had patterns out and patterns trying to find that other one, and I couldn't. But this is looking great. I feel like I'm getting there with this. So all my patterns are now on display. That filing cabinet is going. I've got a mirror ordered for these. Oh, see what I mean? It's like a disaster zone. So there's going to be a mirror that it's either going to go in there, or I'm going to move this along and it's going to fit in the centre. Not sure yet. I had all the Carly and the Machine labels from when I had Tees Creatives. So this is looking so good. And then I've sorted all of the fabrics out along that wall. So I need to get these patterns put away and everything off the floor. But I feel like I'm getting somewhere. I always say it, don't I? It has to get worse before it gets better. When I'm working, I always try and centre the fabrics down. And then I'll sometimes listen to what I think the fabric wants me to do as opposed to what I need to do. And here, obviously that's the neckline, and there'll be like a centimetre going round, and you'll end up with these little odd bits at the front. I'm not sure, it isn't symmetrical, but I am going to take it further down so that this sort of these dots are more visible as a neckline as it comes round. So that I think that'll look better than having sort of just edges of the others. You might agree, you might not, but that's what I'm going to do. And also, I would never normally overlock when I'm doing sort of a lined fabric, but because you can see through this, I think this is going to look much neater if I overlock the seams, the side seams and the shoulder seams. So I'm going to do that. And I think the back looks good. I haven't even looked at it actually. Yeah, the back's going to look good once the zip's in. I don't have to really pattern match it as such, but I think that'll look pretty cool. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to rethread the overlocker. I'm only going to go for a 3 overlock. I want it to be quite fine in the inside, so you don't really see it. And also, I was talking about doing the rolled hem. I'll only need 3 cottons on there for it. So first of all, I'm going to cut these off. Get rid of the cotton from there and take them away. Then I put the first one on. I need to order some more white. The second, and then the third will go here. We open the front, you'll see that there is a disc here, and it says, I can get it a little bit closer so you can see it. Too close. It's better before. There you go. So you can see there's a disc here, it says serger and threading. So I'm going to take this down to threading, and then I'm going to turn the wheel until it locks. Because I only want 3 needles in, well, it's only got 1 needle at the front, I'm going to take the needle on the left hand side out, and then there's no way I need to lose that because there's a handy sort of magnetic top here, so that'll stay there until I need it before, and I can put my screwdriver there, and then I can get on with threading it. I'm going to lift the foot up, and basically and there's that, just hang that down so far. So that's the under looper done. Now for the upper. And that's out. You don't need to do anything, you know, like sometimes you did have to, on my other one, I used to have to be careful where these threads ended, but you don't with this one. You can hang anywhere. And then I go up and over, and then this is the brilliant one. So you take this down and you literally and that's it, that's done. So you take it off this from the thread into the surgeon, put everything up, press down the foot, I'm good to go. So it's just going to give me a little fine overlocking edge on the insides, which will work perfectly because we don't really want to see them. So I used the eyelets that are around here as my guideline as I've come round to that on the neck. And then I'm terrible at guesstimating. I'm not very good at just sitting and calculating things. I don't know whether it's with being a hairdresser, but I tend to hit it pretty well. And I have checked this obviously before I've shown you, but I'll then do it in half, and I'll just stick a pin randomly through this side of my stitching, and you can see when I get it in focus that it's come through and it's perfect. So I've lowered the neckline a little bit on here, and I think that is going to look better. So that neckline looks pretty good. I've stay stitched it underneath, so hopefully it won't move too much. It looks really neat. I've trimmed it up so you don't see any of the fabric coming through. And the same on this with them really little seams. They look really good there, so they're not going to poke through either. So now to add the rest of it. I've said this before, I think. I like to do it in increments. I think increments is the right word. So that I do it in little stages, basically. So I've got the bodice fit. I'm not going to try it on because I've made 2 of these already, and I love the fit on it. So I'm not worried about that at all. So I can start adding the first tier, and then I'm going to make my mind up whether I want long or short sleeves. I think I'm going to go long, with them being, I think I've got enough fabric, and also with it being this sort of lightweight and the eyelet, I'm not going to do any lining in those. So I think they'll look nice long, and then I'll decide where I'm going to stop the lining on the skirt when I come to do that. When I do gathering stitching, I take the top thread, and the good thing about this is that you can measure it for the length that you want. For this I'm only making sleeve heads, but it's an easy thing to show you it on. So you put your foot down, lift, can you see how that's lifted the bottom spool up, and then I'll match that to the other. I'm going to put it on zigzag stitch. And as I'm zigzagging, I can pull and do the gathering at the same time. Finished, you be careful not to cut that off, and then you can pull it to the level that you want it. It's great because it's dead sturdy. You're not worrying about losing the ends like you are when you're doing 2 rows of stitching, and I think it goes even. So the green dress that I made for the knitting in, it wasn't knitting in stitches, was it? It was a Stitch Fest. I did the gathers with that, and normally with a cord like I use, you wouldn't have got them gathers as even as I'd got them. And then I just do the normal sort of figure 8 in the end to keep them in place. So I'll just do another recap. You can see how neat that overlocking is as well, can't you? It's really good, that machine. So I'm pulling the top out a little bit more. I'm going to put it in, press it under, pull the underneath up, you get a loop, you can pull that out. And then you're literally going to zigzag over it. And I've got so far there, and I can actually be pulling this. If it was a big long tiered skirt, can you imagine you'd be pulling this as well at the same time? Although I do have another little trick on my overlocker that I tee along to gather long ones as well. And then I just leave this in. I don't bother unpicking it or anything because it's not doing anyone any harm. So my sleeve heads are ready, even though I haven't got my sleeves done yet. Because like I say, I never work in chronicle order either. The pattern piece just jumped out on me, so I started to use that. And I haven't got a pin near me. There might be one on the floor. Of course it is. And I'll just put a figure 8 in there so that it keeps it in place. And then I'm going to put these somewhere so that I can see them. I don't know about you, but I always lose something when I'm making things. Whether it's a little bit of a pattern piece or like a bit that I've made. So I just keep, I think they need to be a little bit tighter at some point. I might have to gather them a little bit more. But that's the easy way to gather. I'm just using my model to hide my privacy, but honestly I love it already. I didn't have enough fabric for the sleeves, So I have used the Fabric Godmother off the flare, and I've managed to pattern match this right the way across. Oh, and it is so lovely. I can't wait to get this finished now. I really can't. Really be setting off for work, but look at that sleeve and the sleeve head. So I'll show you how to do that in my next video. I just can't get over how gorgeous it is, and it fits really good. So like I said, I've already made it twice, I think, and that bodice just fits perfectly on me. I know the big four, that they're not wanting to be called that anymore, but Simplicity Group, I know they do get a lot of stick for the pattern sizing being wrong, but honestly that bodice, I've not had to alter it for me at all, and it fits perfectly. So whether I'm one of the lucky ones, I'm not sure, but I think with that I'm just going to do what I said with the edge, and I'm just going to edge that on my overlocker and leave it like sort of like that because I think it looks so pretty. So I finished work, done my workout, and I am going to get on with this now to finish it. So I'll go through what I've done with the sleeves and show you what I've done there, and then I've made the job worse because I'm going to do 2 lots of gathering for the lining. I've actually attached that first lining straight to it and overlocked it, but for this bottom bit I decided to do it in two bits. I don't know why. So anyway, I've got the gathering to go on to the outside and the inside, but I'm going to do the skirt a little bit shorter underneath, so you get sort of the eyelets and it peeping through like you do on the sleeve. And I definitely going to leave that sleeve like that. I love it. I think it looks really nice, the structure in it. I've put the sleeve head in as well, so I think that works really well, and I've got the zip to go in. So before I put a zip in, I always check that the top neck to the waist is exactly the same. I've already put one side of the zip in, and then I'll meet it at the waist, and I'm going to put a pin in there. Then I'll start my zip here, so that I know that I'm going to get a perfect join, as opposed from starting from the top on the other side. So I've flipped over the zip, and then I know that that is a point that I need to go over, and I'll just do this little section first, and then I'll check it before I do the whole zip. So you can see I've done it before because it's more or less perfect there now, but believe you me, in the past I've done that I don't know how many times to get it right. So it's a really easy way than obviously putting all of this zip in and then realising that this line doesn't match up. So that's a little quick tip for you for the zips. So once I've put that in, then I'll go down the right way and get the bottom bit into it as well. You can see that's pretty near on. To be fair, with this fabric, I don't think you'd notice it anywhere really. Then I swap my foot for a one-sided foot so that I can sew this down. I've actually just put this bit of lining in with the zip because I think it was going to be easier. Obviously I'm making this lining bit here up as I go along because the pattern doesn't ask for that, but obviously I don't want bits of my bone show through the holes. For the sleeve head, I do the zigzag stitch exactly how I showed you before. So I'm going to pull the top spool. I haven't got any notches, but I know that it's near the palm trees. I'm going to put my fabric in, pull the underneath up. Don't mean, yeah, obviously I put the fabric in. Pull it up, put onto zigzag stitch. And then I can start pulling and gathering this as I'm going along. That's better, you can see it better there. This fabric's really bouncy. When it sort of hits the broader angular bit, it does bounce up a little bit, so it takes a little bit to get used to. And then take the bottom out, but it's worth it for how it does. And then you just pull, and then it's already more or less gathered how much as I need to put the sleeve head in. So I'm just going to put a pin in the end there, and do a figure of 8 just so it doesn't move, and then I'm ready to insert my sleeve. The difference of the sleeve head is unbelievable. See how flat that is without it. Takes me back to the 90s. So I've halved this sleeve bed, or head, whatever it's called, cushion, sleeve cushion. I've halved it into the centre, and then I'm going to sew that along inside of the sleeve head, and then that will just make it more puffier. This is one of my favourite tools that I use all the time. It's a blunt like oar, and it works like as a finger really, so I can help move it through without risking my finger going through the sewing machine. So for the sleeve and the bottom, I'm just going to create a rolled hem. So I've altered the machine to the what I need to do. Using this book, it tells me everything. So for a rolled hem, it tells me what's upper and lower, 0.2 needle, stitch selected D, stitch width, length, and differential feeders are normal. So it creates like a lovely sort of finish right round it. So I've started it now. And this is what the result is. It's just like really, really fine hem right the way around. So even where the semicircles, where it's just finished that off right the way around. I just need to trim that bit, but I'm happy with that. It looks really pretty. The bodice is complete now. The sleeves look lovely. I'm just going to leave them like that. The top looks really nice. The only thing I haven't done is attach the lining to the mid seam there, but I'm going to hand sew that. I like to hand sew sometimes. And the zips in, that's looking lovely. It's not too bad, my line up there where it fits. Sorry, I'm adding loads of shadows on here. It's night time obviously now. So I'm just hoping that on Sunday we're going to get some nice sunny weather so that I can get the photographs. Obviously I've got the bottom to put on. I'm going to do that now. I'm going to put everything together for that. But so we want it to be nice on the 30th of March, which obviously it'll be in past time when you're looking at this, because this isn't going to get released till the 3rd of April, and it's top secret until then, so I can't post this anywhere till then. But I'm really happy, really happy with it so far. So with the hem, I was going to do like a template, but the eyelets are my template really, so I'm just working against sort of the eyelets and then working around, so that stitch width is my template for coming right around. So it's just going to be like a really slight wave that's going on the bottom edge there. It's going to look really lovely, and it's going to save hemming it all as well, since I've added extra gathers into the mix. The only thing is where it joins, I haven't been able to match it exactly, so I'm just sort of roughly doing it around the join area there. But I don't think you'll notice, hopefully. Apart from this join here, I managed to get in perfectly. The reason I didn't say earlier, the reason I had to choose the different sleeves, or I might have said, was because I ran out of fabric. I had 4 meters of this, and it is wide, but I had to, the pattern goes down the grain, not along, so it's like harder, or it's getting it fit into each bit. And I think I was a bit blasé at first. I thought I was going to have enough for the long sleeves, but I barely had enough for any sleeves at the end. So I always do that. I don't know whether you do. Start a project thinking, oh yeah, I've got plenty of fabric, and then you get to the last piece you need to cut and you're like, oh sugar. So this is the only downside of me working in increments and doing little stages, but I do normally sort of roughly check it's going to fit. But I think, like I said, the sleeves have been a triumph anyway, so I'm not going back on that. And I could have got more fabric, but because I was late to making it, I didn't have enough time for it to get delivered. But Ruby will be pleased. I'm right on time now. I'm going to have the photographs done, and it'll all be ready to be shown on the 3rd of April, the day before my birthday. So I'm going to use the overlocker to gather this skirt. So for that, I need to take it up to the differential feed right up the top, take it back onto A, and I'm going to have to add my needle back in and add another spool to do. So I'll need 4 spools for that to do the gathering. So you can just see with this, it gathers as it goes along. It's not doing too bad with this material. Sometimes some gathers different than the other. It gathers differently, but it's doing all right. But what you can also do is pull it and make them tighter as well as you go along. So again, just saves all them lines of 2 lots of sewing. So if you need to be any tighter with the gathers, you go into the side with the 2 lines on, and just make sure you've got the 2 bottom pieces. Try there, sorry. And then if you pull, sorry, my big hand's in the way. Then if you pull, you can start seeing that it's going to gather in further. This fabric doesn't like gathering, I'm telling you that now. But it's going to do it. It started to now, can you see it's moving?
So I'm just gathering a little bit because I've been, in the past, I've been sort of, I've gone too far with the gathering and then like had to undo it all, which is a nightmare. So I just normally do it in sort of different sections, and then I'll put a pin in this top section to keep that together, and then I can sew it straight onto the sewing machine. Also, instead of laying this all out and trying to get it all fit together, I just do it in little bits. So I've done the straight bit at this side. I've just gathered that in there because I know that that seam has to fit at the side here. So I'll go around and I can pull, and I've got more like manipulation with it than sort of worrying about all those the big lines of gathering coming out. Could have done it with a zigzag, but obviously it's tons easier on the overlocker, and I think it works better for big areas. I love the zigzag for small areas, the overlocker for bigger areas. Yeah, that's right. That's right for that. So that first layer is on. I think the hem's looking good. I think you'd have to look really closely if it's not. Oh, I need to do that bit, that tiny bit. I might just hand sew that on. I've got to do the same obviously with the lining underneath, but I think I'm going to stop the lining underneath, just maybe is this point here. So I wanted to get that front one on because that looks lovely when you can see through it, I think. So obviously that will hide my modesty to about here, so I'll measure that and then cut the lining out on the bottom. And she's almost ready. God, that was a bit of a high pitch as I was standing up. So yeah, bring on the summer, that's all I can say. What I'm going to do is take it upstairs and hand sew the bodice in, try it on, and then I can determine really where I want that second lining to go to. I think that's better than second guessing it. And it's, what, 8 o'clock. Friday night, I think it's time I chilled. Although I've loved doing that. Lessons learned, look for pins, girls, before you try your clothing on. Got a nice little dent in my leg. Bye-bye, cakes. I want to eat you, but bye. So she's almost ready. The lining, obviously I need to do underneath. I tried it on last night and I hand stitched all the lining down. You've seen that I also got a pin stuck in my leg that I'd left into it, but the blood has come out. It wasn't a very good thing to get blood on this white dress, sorry. So I'm now just going to put the last bit of the hem in there and pray for sunshine tomorrow to get the pictures. I'll show you how we do the pictures as well when I go with Leggy, so that'll be fun to see. And she's almost done, so luckily I got her ready in time. With the lining, I wasn't sure what length to go, but on this pattern it has 2 different lengths. So what I've used is the shorter length, so I think that was for view B. So it's done it for me really. I didn't have to do the calculations to make it smaller, so that's easier. And what I've also done is just brought this in a little bit at the side. I don't think you're going to be able to tell that this is a little bit narrower underneath, otherwise I've got to cut more, and who's going to see the lining? So that's ready to cut out now. So I'm just making a quick little with the lining, quick little slip really. So I've just done it all on my baby lock overlocker. I've gathered that, so I need to gather that onto the dress now, and I've just done a simple hem on the bottom of it. No one's going to see that, so I'm not too bothered. And then once I've done that, she's all done. So made again, just in me time. I'm ready this afternoon to go and get some photos and nip to the pub with Leggy. I'm going to look very, very summery in a white dress, but the sun is out, thank goodness, and I must probably put like a jumper or something on with it over it. But I'm really pleased. The fabric is just beautiful. It's making me want to just book a holiday to Dubai because of the palms that are on there, although I don't fancy Dubai, but hey ho. But yeah, really lovely, and I'm glad I've made this one. It's nice and fitted on the top, which I like. I think I'm going off sort of like just smocky dresses at the moment, so I'm glad I did this pattern as well. The sleeves are delicious too. They're the Fabric Godmother sleeves, if you remember, because I didn't have enough fabric. I might, no, I'm not. I was thinking there I might order more once that it's been released, but I like that. I think it looks totally different. And at the end of the day, we want one of a kind, don't we? That's why we saw. It looks really, really good.